Hi everybody, this one's a redo because several people have informed me in the comments that the audio on the original is really poor. So hopefully this one is going to be better. So I'll try and go through the same information again, but I'll try and make it quicker this time. As normal, we get the comments from the trolls in the comment section. I'm going to address some of them with some videos in the future, but those of you that know and understand what is being presented here, you will see this as being irrefutable evidence of what Michael Masi knows. And this is the key, okay? Abu Dhabi was wrong. They did not perform the mandatory safety car lap. They didn't release all lapped cars. They didn't then do the mandatory safety car lap. Had they have done, that event would have finished behind the safety car. Simple as that. No alternatives. Now, that manufactured the outcome of the championship. That fixed the outcome of the 2021 Formula One championship. Because a safety car finish would have been Lewis Hamilton winning the championship, the race and the championship, 104th race victory, 8th world championship, 5th consecutive world championship for Lewis Hamilton. But what they did, they broke the rules. They broke the rules of the sport. They did so knowing that Max Verstappen was going to be highly advantaged to the point of being able to pretty much with 100% certainty know that Max Verstappen was pretty much certain to win that one lap race. Because of the conditions, they knew he was on fresh, soft tyres. They knew Lewis Hamilton was on old, hard tyres. And that performance differential between what them cars are then capable of would make Max Verstappen odds-on favourite to win that. With that knowledge, the people in race control of Formula One broke the rules of the sport to set that event up. That is what took place. Now, whether you agree or not, I don't care whether you agree, to be honest with you, that Formula One created the narrative. They put it into your head that it was going to be possible to see that racing lap. Sky Sports did the same. They lied about the possibilities ahead of it even happening to even suggest that that race could restart one way or another. Even with lapped cars being left where they are. That's not even possible. Hasn't been possible since 2012. But that's what they were saying. Coming up with all these scenarios of, and are we going to see this racing lap? Taking you all through the different scenarios about what may happen, and none of them things were possible. It was really quite simple. Unless they could release them cars on lap 56 so that it would all past the safety car by then, so that lap 57 could be that mandatory lap, it was going to be a safety car finish. Because lap 58 could not be performed as a racing lap had them two things not been possible to achieve. And they weren't possible to achieve. So therefore, it's a safety car finish. But what they go on to say is Michael Masi made an error. There's 10 people at least in FIA race control. These are evidencing the times where they carried out the correct procedures. I'm going to do a video very shortly which shows you 51 occasions. 51 occasions where Michael Masi himself, along with those people in FIA race control, did the safety car procedure. 51 occasions. When you know this stuff, you don't get it wrong. You do not make a mistake with this. It is impossible to make a mistake when you know what you're doing, and you know the purpose of what you're doing, and you know the implications of what you're doing. Yet they've managed to condition minds that have got desire, because they've got that much desire for the outcome that they lust after, that they will accept and they will argue for it. They will argue against anybody to say, no, this is right. No, this is right. No, yeah, but. No, you've been lied to. You've been lied to. and you won't accept the truth. And the truth is, this is a global fraud. And the truth is, they've used the media to present the agenda that they had, and then no media has ever exposed the truth because they've got control over that media. That's the truth of the matter. So trying to fight to expose the truth of this has to be done from small social media channels. And they'll label you, oh, conspiracy theorist. Well, there's no theory in this. This is clear what is taking place. This is the evidence of what goes on. And for anybody to claim that, oh yeah, but he just got that wrong that time. You don't get this wrong. You don't get the basics, the fundamentals wrong. Unless it's by design. We've also got a racist troll, Yerry. Now, Yerry has gone on to make an accusation against me again. As always, likes to discredit, likes to try and undermine, likes to question my emotional stability. Well, thanks for that, Yerry. Thanks for your expertise relating to that. Now, you're trying to suggest that I'll avoid dealing with Imola 2021. You're wrong, Yerry. That was apology 2 that I tried to upload last night, and it got blocked. So I'm going to have to redo it so it actually gets published on YouTube. And you'll see here, the reason, it says video cannot be seen or monetized, okay? Blocked by Formula One management. And what I was showing there is that at the Imola 2021 event, the one that you think just Lewis Hamilton benefited from, I showed you the onboard footage in this video of Fernando Alonso spinning his car as he was passing the site of the George Russell Valtteri Bottas crash. And because of that, that's taking place here in this clip part of my video, they blocked the video. So I'm going to have to redo the video. That's the way things are working. But don't worry, Yerry, I will be addressing Imola 2021. Anyway, back to the original purpose of this video. Billed originally as an apology. It's not an apology. I missed out 3 instances. The reason I missed them out is because they'd been red flagged. I thought it's not quite the same as a normal safety car, where the safety car comes out on track, goes around for 4, 5, 6 laps, however it might be, and then releases the cars and they get going again. But the same process happens with a red flag. If there's lapped cars at the point where there's a red flag shown, the same process happens. Masi demonstrates he knows that process, which demonstrates he knows the underlying purpose of that process. And unless you know the underlying purpose of that process, I would suggest you don't jump up in the comment section and try and argue otherwise, because you're wrong. Anyway, Tuscan Grand Prix 2020. This is the situation on track. Lewis Hamilton is the race leader. Valtteri Bottas is in second. But if you look here on track, you've got Hamilton. And then just back around the corner is Kimi Raikkonen. Right. Back past Bottas here is Romain Grosjean, the grey dot at turn 12. Which means Kimi Raikkonen is in 12th position. Romain Grosjean is in 13th position. Hamilton has passed 12th position Kimi Raikkonen, which means he has lapped Kimi Raikkonen, and it means Romain Grosjean is lapped too. If you look a bit further up the road here, there is the red dots of Leclerc and Vettel. 2 red dots on the pit straight. So Hamilton hasn't made it up to them yet. So this is the point in time where this happens.
No, and maybe Charles Leclerc. Oh, and someone's had it off, and into the gravel they go. And we just look now to see as the dust clears. I think that is.
Lance Stroll, and if I cut to tracker view, no, not tracker view, data view. Data view is different on this event. I don't know why, but if I go to that,
now to see as the dust clears,
you can see they've deployed the safety car pretty much immediately. They realise it's quite a big incident. Normally on data view, when you go down this list of drivers, it will get to here and say +1 lap. It will give the time gaps and say +1 lap. It's not doing it on this particular version. If we drag this along to about 1 minute 44-ish, somewhere like that, and play out.
Be going through Arrabbiata 2.
Don't know if it was a puncture or a failure with it. We were heavily loaded on those curves, but that car will take a bit of recovering. It's very old school circuit here.
There you go, red flag is shown. And if I go to the international view, which is this,
against the tyres,
they've red flagged again. So a second red flag for this race.
You'll see the third place car there. That will be Kimi Raikkonen's car. So probably during pit stops he might have pitted, come back out there, but Bottas is ahead of him. So there'll be Raikkonen and Grosjean that have been lapped, and the race has been red flagged. Okay. So if I then show you what happens before they restart the race, I'm going to play you a bit of footage so you can hear what Brundle and Crofty are saying. So they're just talking about Kimi Raikkonen. Yeah, what actually happened? They show you the clip of when the safety car is called. Raikkonen was, in fact, let me just show you. I'll rewind this 10 seconds and show you. Raikkonen was just slightly past pit entrance, but he dived across the kind of the white lines, the little bit of an area separating the pit lane from the track, dived across it to dive into the pits for a tyre change. And because he did that, then he's going to get a penalty. But if I just scroll this back 10, you'll see it. I'll do another 10. You can have a look. It's always good to have a look.
Our third start of the afternoon. Lewis Hamilton on pole position for the restart, or we'll just have
So this is Kimi Raikkonen.
a look at Kimi's entry. There's the lights. The safety car goes on. Is there anything to stop Kimi doing that?
Yes.
So that's effectively probably that's where Bottas got through. So why he's now third on track when we saw the red flag thrown. So then they cut to the they move forward to this bit.
You've got to go between the two white lines.
Yeah, in which case then I think we might see a penalty coming Kimi Raikkonen's way. He
So this is what Crofty says.
and Roman Grosjean will be allowed to the front of the queue, by the way, to then unlap themselves, so to speak, so they're not interfering in that restart. It's
Not interfering with the restart, okay? They'll be allowed to unlap themselves so they're not interfering with the restart. So you're not going to explain what the truth is, are you? You're still using this notion of interfering with the restart, okay? It's not that at all. You know, you've got this David, and whatever numbers he is, David CP, the new troll, that thinks he knows what he's talking about. You've managed to condition minds like his because you've never explained the true reality of the situation. So if I cut to tracker view,
easier way to do that. Right, so Lewis Hamilton won the inaugural race at Austin in 2000.
there's nothing to do with there being an easier way to do that. We'll see what goes on track any second now. In fact, I'm going to try and queue it up so that I'm not wasting too much time. Okay, so you'll see tracker view now, and this is what then happens.
As you were saying, he might fancy his chances to get past Perez. Danny Kvyat, his team boss, is expected to get super keen and contest.
Two cars come out on track. Kimi Raikkonen, Roman Grosjean. Let's have a listen to what they say.
A few more places, and then you've got Charles Leclerc. We know he's very good at starts as well, in 8th place. George Russell's got Sebastian Vettel to try and hold off to maintain that 9th place. Grosjean and Raikkonen, the lapped cars, are in 11th and 12th. They might still fancy a points finish, of which Grosjean hasn't got one since Hockenheim.
The lapped cars in 11th and 12th may still fancy a points finish. I thought they're just being gotten out of the way. Not at all. If you remember, prior to Lance Stroll crashing, then ahead of Raikkonen on track, although Hamilton was in between because Hamilton had made it past Raikkonen. Ahead of Raikkonen on track were the two Ferraris. There was Leclerc and there was Vettel. That order has probably changed due to certain cars pitting and other cars not. Okay, perhaps George Russell pitted and Leclerc gained a place. But ahead of Raikkonen were them two Ferraris. Just because a safety incident occurred, it shouldn't leave Raikkonen a lap behind them two Ferraris. So there is a procedure that's there in place to ensure that that doesn't happen. What that procedure is it releases the lapped cars, it puts them on the same lap as everybody else that they were competing with, and it gives them the same margins in between each competitor. That is what happens. I'm going to do a really simple video to explain the concept to people. It's nothing to do with getting them out of the way. It is entirely about sporting fairness.
Last season.
A time for calm heads. Just keep the heart rate down. Just keep it all together. And they're the two lap cars that are going to be released to come back to the back of the pack. Lap cars were told to go to the front of the queue, and that's how they sort it out when you're all lined up in the pit lane and you leave from the pit lane, so the fast lane.
It's not just when you leave from the pit lane, Martin, it's also the same principles that apply when the safety car is circuiting the track too. You ensure that these restart conditions are met before you go racing again.
Of the pit lane.
And what does it do for a driver having this?
So you don't explore that, you don't explain the reasons why, do you? You go into talking about something else. There's no clarity to explain to the fans of the sport the fundamental reasons why this is happening. But I'm going to break it down in a really simple video.
Many interruptions during the course of an afternoon as well. They've had to spend long periods behind the safety car. They've spent long periods either out of the car or stuck in the pit lane. Is it easy to switch off, and then how easy is it to refocus once again?
No, I think your mind's still reasonably focused on it. Obviously your adrenaline and your heartbeat is going to come down.
So that's explaining why they're doing this for these two cars. Is it just getting them out of the way, or is it just, oh well, that's what they do in the pit lane before they go racing again? Have you explained the implications of how Kimi Raikkonen would have been affected relative to Sebastian Vettel, the car that was in front of him at the point in time where another car had a crash? Have you explained that? No, you haven't. You've not educated these simple minds that don't understand, have you? No. What you've conditioned them to believe is, oh, it's just to get them out of the way. It's just to get them out of the way. And therefore, because we got them out of the way, we just want to get out of the way so in Abu Dhabi we could let Max have a go. Let him have a go. It's only fair. You don't know what you're talking about. But you've been conditioned. And the media will not expose the truth. Andrew Benson of the BBC's chief Formula One correspondent, has never exposed the truth of the Formula One safety car rules, what they're there for, and how they implicate all that's gone on. Nothing to do with that, has he? Just parroted the narrative. Which Formula One channel, which Formula One motorsport publication has ever exposed this? They refuse to. But this is the facts of the matter. And like I say, I'm going to do a video 51 times. And it will show. You'll see what it shows. You will see what it shows.
But I think you'll find mentally they're still very much plugged into the Grand Prix.
So, set of soft tyres on Charles Leclerc's Ferrari. Set of soft tyres on Valtteri Bottas's Mercedes as the blankets come off. I wonder, what do they do down at Red Bull? Has Alex Albon got a new set of mediums at all that he might be able to use? Oh, has Daniel Ricciardo got a problem here, or is he just...
Let's have a look what's going to happen now as we come round this corner.
He's just applauding his potential shoey, I think, on the podium. Potential. But I hope he is anyway. So a race is limited to 2 hours within a 4-hour period. So we've got to
Can we see what's going on now, kids?
get this underway and finished. We've still got 49 minutes remaining to do these last 14 laps.
Let's finish what we started.
Yes, quite like the shoey. He's a third place man on the road at the moment, but by no means a shoe-in for the podium, because he's got Alex Albon, Perez, Norris behind him, all who could have a foot on that podium come 59 laps.
Often you hear one of those things on the rev limiter. So,
Oh, what's happened now? Are all the cars now in the correct race order? Are they all then making their way around the track? The answer is yes.
yeah, very calm behind the wheel, isn't it, for Daniel Ricciardo?
Yeah.
Extremely calm. And this is going to get personal between the two Mercedes drivers.
Let's
Hamilton
fast forward
just
this a
wants
bit.
to keep the World Championship
Put up for launch.
to take a pounding up against the barriers to make that happen. And the damage and
Be a new chassis.
Let's have a look.
something
From the Austrian Grand Prix.
Let's have a look what this looks like with the footage.
As well. I just wonder, Daniel Ricciardo.
All the cars in the correct order with pretty much the same gaps between all the cars. Oh, would that be sporting fairness?
Last podium, stood on the top of it, Monaco 2018, the last time a Red Bull driver other than Max Verstappen was on the podium as well. And then, as Martin pointed out, the battle between Hamilton and Bottas, 1
So this is actually going to be a standing start.
and 2 in the championship, and we're just over halfway distance, aren't we, for this season. Bottas needs to start making a comeback now. Plenty of time to reel his teammate in, but he needs
Imola isn't a standing start, but they do a similar thing. I'll give you a little sneak preview.
to make an impression. And Carlos Sainz watching on from the McLaren garage, one of several drivers who were out of this race a long time ago. Esteban Ocon was one of those as well. Verstappen, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Latifi, all out before the first lap really
There's 6.
had ended here. Lance Stroll, the last driver to go out of this race. We got 12 left.
I'm nervous in the pit of my stomach.
And then the other 6 joined up, and they're all in the same restart conditions, aren't they? Sporting fairness to every competitor. When you resume racing, that's what's got to be achieved. You can't just set it up so that just first and second positions are separated out, leaving a couple of lapped cars in the way of third being able to challenge. Then dispatching 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th halfway around the track, not even that far, so that their races, they're not even in the race. That's not the conditions that you're allowed to resume a racing. And I was saying a video depicting the 51 occasions where Masi will have done this. How many times do you think Masi got it right? Let's see when that video comes out. Let's see how many times he gets it wrong before he makes it the error. Let's see how many times he gets it right before he makes the error. Anyway, this was the Tuscan 2020 Grand Prix. Next will be the second apology, which will be Imola 2021. You'll enjoy that one, Yerry. Anyway, until next time.